before we start, and I also have another video, before we start, I just wanted to have a quick introduction of Paceteq to overview your mission, your contribution to AI-driven motorsport.
Yeah, thanks Lorenzo, thanks for having me, and first of all, what a great event. Actually, because I love sports, I love data, I love AI, and that's the passion, my profession. I actually see people being engaged in this field and seeing this amount of people also sitting here. So when I started Paceteq, I started under the assumption that actually we in motorsport or in sport, we do a pretty, let's forgive me, shit job in terms of how we leverage data. I've seen a lot of other industries have worked with SAP, TeamViewer, tech companies, and after one day in motorsport, and this was roughly 10 years ago, I've lost all my illusions about professional racing, because I've seen pens and paper, I've seen a lot of Excel sheets, and I thought, well, actually, this can't be the truth. My understanding of sports is this is our laboratory, this is the best lab, the ecosystem to actually implement technology, because there's a lot of athletes here and there's a lot of people in the field of sports, I guess. The beauty about our profession and our field is we do see the direct result of our work on the next weekend or the next competition. When you join the pitch, when you join the racetrack, at the end of the race, at the end of the match, you see your result, you see yourself on the top step or somewhere else in the field. So, and this is where we came in, and this is why we started implementing AI and data technology into sports, just implementing what's available outside the industry and putting it into motorsport.
So you are mainly in motorsport?
Yes, yeah. Currently we're in motorsport, that's our field. This is where we know data, partners, sources.
And what's your approach in data analysis in your field in motorsport? What's your vision on this?
Yeah, Khurram has explained it's not about like replacing human beings and athletes, but actually we do like to take the athlete and human being out of the equation where he can't make a difference. We like to see all the Verstappens, and I've worked a long time with Esteban Ocon, and I'm a big fan. He's one of the best drivers in the field, but even he needs help. And normally Formula One drivers have a bunch of engineers. Just imagine a Formula One team has over 1,000 people sitting in the offices, sitting at the racetrack, analyzing data. And now with all the technology available, this is where we can make a big difference. So the engineers can focus on the actual sports, can focus on the drivers, and can focus on their job, which is to make the car goes quick and make the competition nice for us viewers as well.
How much data every second in a Formula One?
Is massive. So normally, if you have a sports guy, a tennis player, he'll provide some data. You have computer vision to generate some data. Now imagine you have a race car with hundreds of sensors, high resolution sensors, and you collect gigs of data like every minute.
Gigs like millions?
Easily in a day, because there's multiple cars running, multiple sessions, so it also puts a big pressure on the infrastructure underneath, but I guess that's a completely different topic, but also very important.
So a lot of data, and maybe it's a question for you, Khurram. What is the role of data to train and optimize your AI models for A2RL?
Well, I think that's the competitive ground that the teams compete on, but from what we see is, as you said, every lap, you're getting gigabytes of data. Now, the key element is how you cleanse, use, build the models on that data, and that's where Alex's company thrives. And what we've been able to really do and see is that that competitive ground is also not about what you do on the physical track. It's on the digital track. So Max mentioned before, we have a simulator. So teams are running 24/7 on the simulator. They never stop, right? To run the perfect lap. Now I know the perfect lap on the simulator. Then the issue is that you have a sim to reality gap, which every company in the world is looking at. And so A2RL becomes this perfect opportunity, really, is because we can test technology without taking the risk of a human. And really push it to its limits. So we've burnt cars, we've lost cars, we've crushed a lot of cars, but you learn so much, and I think that's the critical element of that, and so how you use that data in the simulator, but also in the physical world. Yeah.
And how data enhance AI in vehicles capabilities?
So I think I would shift the focus a little bit. Vehicles, we have a lot of sensors, we have computing capacities on the car, so we can tune each element, we can tune brakes, we can tune the steering, so we can make the car, we can put the car in the best operating window for the driver. But then if we...
Is improving safety and the drive?
Yeah, that's actually, secondly, I wanted to mention the topic of safety. If you just look globally on a racetrack, we've seen a lot of deadly and bad accidents in the past, especially in Formula One and other categories, and even on TV. And this was mostly related to the high latency of people pushing a button and deploying a safety car or deploying a flag. And now it's super simple to just employ and implement technologies which are available, and you can go as simple as object tracking. You can identify cars on a track and just put a flag. You can identify easily by AI if a car has crashed and deploy a flag. So we can just reduce the latency to close to zero and avoid deadly mistakes. So that's a big one. And the last one is just, this is more from an engineering perspective on the strategy side of things. I'm not sure who's watched Formula One in the past. Ferrari was Brawn. They were like the champions in TV because they're always tempted to make the right decisions based on gut feeling and experience. And now actually we do employ a lot of AI, where we, if we want to go deeper at some point, where we use reinforcement learning to have strategy models and AI strategy engineers to make decisions for Formula One teams as well.
And you were talking, Khurram, about gamification. What's your plan?
Yeah, so we see a world where essentially esports and the physical world collide, and we become an extreme AI sport where someone can actually code a car in the physical world, not just in the digital world. So gamification is very much using simulated races. So you would code a car, do a digital twin race. So our first step was to do physical racing, AI versus AI, AI versus human on the track. Then we're going to do a digital twin version of that. So in a simulator, we can do so many different things then. You can build your custom tracks. You can do AI versus human in the digital world. You know, physical races cost us a hell of a lot of money to put on. So we're going to do maybe 3-4 races a year, maybe a few more. But digital races we can run monthly. Right, so the idea is to gamify that as much as possible, all the way up to a point whereby I can start putting coins and rings visually seen from home on a physical track, right? What you have then is the world's first Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario Kart, right? And the beauty of my sport is I can write the rules. So
we will play Mario Kart with your cars, right?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? And you can then what you do with that is so much NFTs and so much. You could actually collect your winnings as you drive, right? So essentially what that allows us to do, it gives us a lot more freedom in terms of how to make this a sport that people want to watch, how we ensure technology development through it. And then, you know, fan engagement. If we're going to be the most tech-native sport, we have to be the most tech-native viewing model, and that's why we invested a lot in VR and other tech.
So we had a video. The video is launched.
A2RL Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League 2024. Racing League 2024.
So you do big things. That's really nice to see.
That was a bit of Abu Dhabi at the end with the drone show and fireworks. But actually, the reason is because, you know, you don't know how well these things will perform, right? We're at the cutting edge of science, the bleeding edge. So you want to keep it as entertaining, as enjoyable as possible. This is the first time kids touched AI in a different way. They only know AI from ChatGPT. So we wanted to make it the most engaging event. It becomes a sports event. I think actually probably you should be doing AI for sport in Abu Dhabi, because actually that's what it was. It became a sport tech event and more than just a race per se. So yeah, it cuts across many areas.
So you are doing also a few things in other countries, other regions, right?
Yeah, different regions, different sports, different kind of stuff, different consumers, because as we speak about AI, a big topic of AI is not just the models, but the data. And so we are looking into making data available, and hence the relationship with A2RL, which is like the prime spot to have data availability in racing, and clean data, usable data. And I think what the guys are doing is great. And you see fan engagement, you see how they deliver data and solutions to different consumers in the ecosystem, whereby in other racing disciplines and other sports, the fans get a bit of an idea, a bit of understanding of racing, but in here you have full engagement, and this is all data-based. So yeah, this is good to see, and this is just scratching the surface. So I'm keen to see what's coming.
So I'm very excited by this new sport. I really hope we'll have a new edition next year, maybe one edition of or one race next year. What you don't know is that Khurram is also doing the same thing with buggies and drones. This is amazing. Thank you very much to both of you for being here with us today. We can applause. Thank you very much. It was amazing to be with you, and see you soon.